This is Jake the Snake Roberts, and you're listening to Chris Contra on the RockStop.
All right, welcome to the RockStop. Chris Contra here. My guest today is a WWE Hall of Famer, and I don't think it's a stretch to say he's one of the most well-known figures in professional wrestling history. I'd like to welcome to the show the inventor of the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. How's it going, man?
It's wonderful, man.
Excellent. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, interestingly, I heard you actually were called Jake the Snake even before you started bringing a snake to the ring, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that started, in the 70s.
Wow. And so how did you originally get that name?
I was Jake Roberts, and the snake thing just seemed to be a natural. I had other guys call me a snake. Yeah, they don't call you Jake the Snake because you are a snake, you know. Caught on.
And then in WWF is when you first started bringing the snake to the ring. That was Vince McMahon's idea?
Yeah, it was Vince's idea for me to do it. I'd always had that idea, but he was the one that allowed me to do it.
And actually, we're coming up on the anniversary of your WWF debut. It's about 37 years ago. I just saw it was March 16th, 1986.
It's a long time ago, bro.
Does it feel like it?
It does.
It does.
He's hurting. It feels like, yeah.
That was a match against Leaping Lanny Poffo, who sadly just passed away not too long ago.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, how was it working with Lanny, especially for that first match?
Well, I remember it because he came to me. He said he wanted to try something new, and I'm fair. I knew who he was. I'd been around him before in Louisiana and Mid-South. So I said, sure, let's do it. What is it? He said that he's going to jump up on the top rope and then do a thing and land on me. Okay, cool. Well, he went to jump up on the top rope and he slipped and fell. And when he fell, he just drove a knee into one of my kidneys. He nearly killed me, man. It hurt so much that when I got up, I picked him up and tossed him on the concrete.
So you were outside the ring and he jumped up on the top rope and but slipped.
Drove a knee into my lower back.
For your debut yet?
I pissed blood for a few days.
Oh, man. I imagine you got your point across after tossing him onto the concrete floors. So future matches with him went more smoothly?
We didn't go for that move again.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, you talk about, your snake-like ways in the ring, developing your character back then. Would you listen to the crowds and see what they liked, and then you kind of stuck with that stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was an experiment, and I've always tried to listen to the people.
Yeah.
So you can that way you can play them easier.
And many people over the years have said you're one of the best psychological wrestlers of all time. Right. So I mean, how quickly did you start picking up on in-ring psychology and figuring out how to read audiences?
Oh, from the very beginning, when I was a referee, I learned that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I caught on to that pretty quick.
Yeah? Like...
why my mind focused on that, I do not know. But my mind did.
Right.
People pleaser.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an important part of wrestling, being able to, even improvise on the fly of doing matches and things, of, hearing the crowd and stuff.
You got to read the people, man. If you can't read them, you don't know which way to take it.
Exactly. I mean, you could be the most skilled wrestler around, but if you can't read the people, your match is going to flop.
That's right.
So like working with some of the talent back then, I've had Barry Horowitz on the show who has said, really nice things about you. Do you remember many matches or encounters with Barry Horowitz?
Oh, yeah, Barry was all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's one of the more well-known kind of enhancers, I guess, in the in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always ready to do it. Took care of himself. Made sure he looked good. I have a lot of respect for Barry.
Yeah, so talking about some moments of your career, we also do want to talk about your podcast, and we will get into more of that later on, which is coming up. How are you enjoying doing the podcast?
I love it, man.
Yeah.
It gives me an opportunity to talk to people, and again, I'm trying to stay in contact with them to see what they like.
Right, and like reliving a lot of your moments of of yesteryear. I mean, is that enjoyable to do?
Yeah, sure is, man. I've just had a few people on so far, but I'll be bringing more people on.
Cool. And I will certainly leave a link to Jake's show so you guys could check it out. And if you enjoy the rest of this interview, because you'll hear some of the stories that Jake has, I mean, it's been an incredible career that he has had. So, like, for example, it's WrestleMania season in the WWE type of universe going on. And you, of course, wrestled in WrestleMania 2 through 8. You were in all of those, some of the most classic ones of all time, right?
Right.
Of course, WrestleMania 3 gets looked at as one of the biggest ones at the Pontiac Silverdome, 93,000 people there.
I mean, we put 93,000 in there without cell phones.
Yeah.
Or social media.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that say? See, if we'd have had a building that had 150,000, we could have filled it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was 1987. It was, I mean, such a spectacle. And you had Alice Cooper with you, accompanying you to the ring in that one, the Rock legend.
Yeah, that was fun, man, having Alice Cooper with me. I mean, in high school, my senior year, School's Out for Summer was the #1 song. So,
yeah,
it was really, really awesome for me. But I was a big mark for him, and he was a mark for me. So.
And who put that together? How did you guys come together?
Vince in the office did that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had nothing.
Okay. And I saw an interview with Alice Cooper talking about that moment, and he said, after he saw you guys backstage getting ready, like he was a boxing fan, he said, and he didn't know much about professional wrestling at that time, but he said he gained 100% more respect with the wrestling business after being at that event.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know he was freaking out when we went to the ring because he wasn't used to that.
He did say he was familiar with snakes, but he noticed your snakes were a little more angry than his.
Well, that and mine were a lot bigger. My snake probably weighed about the same thing that he did.
Right.
He's not exactly buff, Do
you still hanging around snakes these days?
No, I can't stand them.
Is that right?
I'm terrified of them, man.
Really? I would have never known.
Yeah, I'm scared to death of them. It was an odd thing, when the bell rang, I became Jake the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake the Snake wasn't afraid of shit.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake would fight Andre. Jake the Snake would do anything. He didn't give a damn. So the snake was just part of it. But as soon as I come through that curtain, I wanted that damn snake off of me. It was just freaking me out.
Wow. And you worked, of course, with many, many different types of snakes, talking about huge ones and cobras and all across the board.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't mind the cobras. Well, they were nice and light. They didn't have fangs. The pythons had long fangs, some of them 3 inches long. Those things dig into you, man. It hurts.
Yeah. They're
curved. And it's to hold on to you, so if you move, they break off in you.
Oh, you've had that happen a few times, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I've had them break off in me. I had one break 2 fangs off in Andre. He didn't even know it.
Really?
Didn't even know it. No, man, he was in the back, and Rick Rude walked up to him and goes, "Hey, Andre, what's this?" He pulls the 2 fangs out of his back. Andre laughs and I was snake hungry. Didn't even know it.
So, I mean, the whole storyline, of course, Andre and you, it was that Andre was terrified of snakes, but...
not true.
Not true.
No. That man wasn't afraid of anything.
Right. But, I mean, his acting was on a great display during that storyline because he seemed genuinely scared, yeah.
Oh, he did a great job of it.
Mm-hmm. And that culminated with a match between you guys at WrestleMania 5, right?
Right. On my record, I've got a win against Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 5, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing on the record right there. Did you and Andre get along backstage? I heard he liked to play cards a lot.
Oh, yeah, we love to play cribbage against each other.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we developed a good friendship doing that.
Was he a good sport when he lost?
He didn't say much. Groaned a little bit. We played for big money. We played for $1 a game.
I gotcha.
But it was more about the pride than it was the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you talked about snakes and how you're not a big fan of them in your personal life, and you talk about, you get in the mindset of Jake the Snake when you really, is it before you come through the curtain? How do you get into that mindset when you go to the ring?
I usually just slap myself good.
That's it, huh?
Slap myself twice and shake my head and throw my cigarette down and go.
And you get in there, and I mean, you're of course the Snake at that point. Yeah, and so like doing some of the promos before matches and things. Like I actually saw one at I think it was SummerSlam '90 when you were going to face Bad News Brown, and you had a huge snake with you in the interview with Sean Mooney, and that thing, it looked like it was starting to constrict around your neck, cutting off your voice a little bit.
Oh yeah, it happens. I had one put me out. He got around my neck and squeezed and put me down, man. This Ricky Steamboat had to pull him off of me.
Wow.
I was completely out.
That's a scary feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah. When I woke up, the snake was headed out of the ring, and I grabbed the tail of it because it was already in the second row. About a 16-footer. And I grabbed the tail. The tail was about 2 feet from going completely out of the ring, and I dove and grabbed the tail and just jerked as hard as I could and jerked him back towards the ring because the people were already starting to, really panic and then fall over each other. And yeah, it was bad.
Man, and this is something people probably don't think about, but you actually have an additional responsibility when you got that snake in the ring. I mean, that's like your responsibility.
Oh, yeah. Vince told me if it ever got in the crowd, don't come back to work.
Oh, man. So you came to and had to snap into action immediately.
Yeah, sure did. It sucked at night, too, because, I had to take it to the hotel with me. And it had to stay in my hotel room with me. So I would get it out, and I'd put it in the bathtub, put a little water in the bathtub, and shut the door, of course.
Yeah.
And I'd come back a couple hours later, go out to eat or whatever, and come back, and I'd look in the bathroom, and he's broken the sink off the wall, or I had one break the toilet. Yeah, they were always breaking the shower rods off and all that shit, just destroying shit. And I don't care how tough and how mean you are. At 4 o'clock in the morning, and you got to take a leak, and the snake's in the bathroom, what are you going to do? You going to pull your junk out in front of that snake?
Hell no.
No, brother. Not me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But yeah, this is interesting because it's a lot of people, they see you in the ring with the snake and stuff, but it was really much more than that.
Oh, it was a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah, the snake is no joke. When you went on, I remember you went on the WWE had a show called TNT back in the 80s, like hosted by, I think, Mean Gene. Vince might have done a couple of them. And you brought a bunch of snakes in and did a showcase type of deal.
Yeah, sure did, man. I had a snake guy. His name was Albert Killian. He was a real freak, man. He had everything you can think of. All the poisonous snakes and vipers and cobras and, oh, my God, mambas. And he had them all, man.
Yeah, and he must have told you some good facts about him, because when you were on the show talking about, the snakes and stuff, you seemed quite knowledgeable about all of them.
Oh, yeah, well, I bullshitted my way through that.
and I wanted to ask you, of course, your signature move, the DDT, which you really invented, and, everybody, chants it in pretty much every match you've done. They want that DDT, and your signal for it. I mean, the signaling for the DDT is such a big part of really the character of Jake the Snake. When did you come up with, signaling for it?
It just seemed like the right thing to do, man. And I was playing around with it, and saying, I can do anything. At first, I was going to take my hand and put it like I was going to judo chop somebody, and I was going to push once, twice, and then I turned my hand sideways and slide it out. Like that's the end. So I realized it didn't matter what I did, as long as I continued to do it every night, it would catch on.
Yeah.
Because I'd give them the short arm clothesline. That was leading up to the DDT.
Right.
And I'd give them the wrap up, and then I'd go for it.
I mean, that whole section of the match right there, I mean, fans go nuts for, and I mean, there's not many finishing moves that really have the impact of the DDT.
No, there's nobody out there who can compare with it.
Now you talk about, your matches with Andre and stuff. I don't believe you ever put the DDT on him, did you?
No, sure didn't.
Yeah, who like that's a move that, you got to do. I don't know, who's the biggest guy you ever put that one on?
Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
A few 400, 500 pounder. But with Andre, it would have been really difficult to do it.
Yeah.
last thing I would want is for him to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very dangerous move to be done. I mean, of course, the whole Ricky the Dragon situation and everything where he
can crack somebody's skull or he can break their neck too. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely
good.
Mm-hmm. These moves really do put you at risk. I mean, I people say, oh, it's choreographed and stuff, but if they don't really understand the sports part of the wrestling business, these moves are quite dangerous.
They're very dangerous, and here's the thing: just a split second off, and somebody's hurt.
Yeah.
And for these guys to go out and do this day in and day out, it's just it's incredible that more guys don't get hurt. It really is.
Yeah, and it really shows the skill of wrestlers like yourself and so many others that because when you're in the ring, you have an obligation of not only keeping yourself safe but your opponent.
Exactly. You want everybody to get out there good, man.
Absolutely.
Again, just a split second off and you break somebody's neck or whatever, I mean, a lot of people have been hurt like that. Austin got hurt like that, he didn't mean to get his neck messed up, but he damn sure did.
Right, that was that match against Owen Hart, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Owen didn't mean to hurt him, but he sure as fuck did.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of guys get hurt, out there and really messed up.
What
with that guitar? It was a real guitar. That was not good.
Yeah, right. The honky tonk man hit you with a guitar, and when they're doing the snake pit, and that was a real guitar. Like, I mean, a lot of times these days they have prop guitars which break real easy. That one was not a prop guitar.
No, it wasn't. I paid the price for that with two discs that were blown out of my neck.
Man, what moves in matches were you of course have to have confidence in your opponent that they're gonna do the move right and everything. Were there moves that like you said no, I don't think I want to do this? Pile drivers, of course, are very dangerous. Things like that.
I've done the pile driver quite a few times. With Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
But there were a few moves I did not like to do, but it was more about who was doing them.
Right.
And, there's people that can do things, and there are people that are dangerous, and the dangerous is the ones that I watch for, because they can hurt you with anything.
Yeah.
And the worst was Vader. Vader was so fucking dangerous, man. It was unreal.
Really?
Yeah, he broke my sternum twice.
Oh, wow.
Twice. And that's a slow injury to heal.
Yeah, then you're out of action for quite a while, yeah.
Yeah. 2 months each time.
So that Vader, very dangerous in the ring.
Yeah. He was sloppy. And he was a huge man, a very powerful man.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand, you can't do some things and just go with it. His excuse to me was, Jake, I'm sorry, but I just get so pumped up out there. The people are chanting for you. It just fucking drives me up the wall, man. I just go crazy. Fuck you. You're not going crazy on me again.
Yeah. Right. That's no excuse at all.
I refuse to wrestle again.
I don't blame you. I mean, that's if you're not safe with your competitors and things. I don't know why you ever want to get in the ring with a guy like that again.
Hell no, man.
Yeah. So that was that in '96 because I think Vader was in WWF at that time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on your return. Now, after I do want to jump around a little bit, but when you returned in '96, how different was the WWF at that point from when you were last there?
Oh, it was a whole lot different. Because you had the Kliq running it.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a huge mistake on McMahon's part.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And they're still suffering from that, they really are. You can't let the inmates run the asylum.
Exactly.
And if it was me, if I owned a company and somebody refused to do something that I wanted, I'd fire the son of a bitch.
Right.
But yet he allowed the Kliq to take control and do whatever they wanted to do. And they still got a couple of guys like that.
Currently even, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have that. I mean, you need some sort of leadership there.
You're trying to write storylines and stuff, and these people are refusing to do part of the storyline. that screws not only him up, but that screws everything up.
Mm-hmm. Which storylines in WWF throughout your career would you say were the most creatively stimulating? You got to really play with some great ideas and bring all kinds of fun things to the storyline.
Well, the honky tonk thing was pretty good for the fact that before the show, I was the bad guy and he was the good guy. And then after the show, it was right the opposite. I was the good guy and he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
So for two guys to turn again, in the same instant is pretty unique.
Definitely.
And I guess the other storyline that had a lot of fun with it was the one with Martel.
Yeah, Rick Martel, when you did which culminated with the blindfold match at WrestleMania 7.
Yeah. That was fun to play with the contact lenses I was putting in my eyes and stuff. And he blinded you was the storyline, and that's what led to the blindfold match, which was, I believe, the only blindfold match ever, as far as I know. In the WWF, yeah. I've been in a blindfold situation before.
Oh, okay.
In Mid-South, we had a blindfold battle royal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, man. I mean, like, for example, if we talk about battle royals and things, you were kind of a fixture at Royal Rumbles and things. How different is a Royal Rumble versus a battle royal?
Oh, the Royal Rumble's brutal, man. A battle royal, you all go out there together and you start together and you finish together. Yeah. But the Royal Rumble, you go out there and there's 2 minutes between each guy, or it used to be. Yeah. And you got fresh meat coming to the ring. Right. So the first thing they want to do when they get in the ring is kick everybody's ass. It's kind of expected. Yeah. And so if you go out there early, you gotta go through quite a few comebacks on your ass. Yeah. Because each guy that comes out there wants to do his thing to you. That's a really great point. I of course know, Battle Royal, you start all at the same time. And when each guy comes in fresh, you've already been in the ring for, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Right. You're already gassed and they're on fire when they hit that ring. Man. Yeah. So Royal Rumbles are even more. Oh, yeah. They're more dangerous. Yeah. I was watching, I think it was the one from 88 or something. You were in there for over 20 minutes and. Yeah, but Royal Rumble's definitely entertaining to watch for the fans, but it's that's a good thing. And these days they got the women's Royal Rumble. Actually, they incorporated that recently. Yeah, women have moved up quite a bit, man. I'm happy for them. They're being respected. It's good to see. I mean, in the era, I was going to say, in the era that you were wrestling, I mean, there was a slight women's division, but nothing like it is now. Nothing like it is now. Yeah, it was just a one-off. Yeah, right. There weren't many builds of storylines and things like that. Yeah, they didn't have storylines or anything, man. Yeah, I actually had Rockin' Robin, your sister, on my show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and she was talking about just the lack of storylines. And oh, yeah. Never got anything. Right, yeah, but it's good to see now, like you said. It's, yeah. Sure it is. And sticking with some pay-per-views, I did want to ask you about the WrestleMania 6 match at the Sky Dome in Toronto when you fought $1 Million Man. I mean, an awesome match. How was it working with Ted? Oh, it was wonderful. He likes to listen to me. He let me drive the car. Really? Oh, yeah. He could listen to whatever I said. We'd go from that. And the match ended, of course, with you handing out money to the crowd. Was that a spontaneous thing, or was that... Oh, it was planned. Yeah. But it wasn't planned for me to keep 600. I gave some out to Mary Tyler Moore. Right. Yeah, that was something. I didn't even know she was a wrestling fan. Yeah, there you go. There you go. She was there at the show in Toronto, and yeah, you gave her some of the money and pocketed 600, huh? Yeah, I kept 6 for myself. And so some other pay-per-views, the Survivor Series. I did want to mention, because I was just watching this one back. Survivor Series 88 was quite a match. I think it was 4 aside or 5 aside, and it ended up getting down to 4 versus 1, just you against 4 on their side. Oh yeah. I forget who all was on there. I know Andre was definitely on there, and maybe Mr. Perfect. Perfect, Andre, Rude. and Dino Bravo.
Ending with, Andre strangling you out in the corner for seemingly forever.
It was enough.
After, a beatdown like that where Hennig pins you, you can't always come back if you're 1 against 4,
God, no, man.
So that was written up quite well, I thought. And a guy like Mr. Perfect, who seemed to have like springs in his legs, just bouncing around. The guy would sell like no other. How was he working with?
He was fabulous. He should have been world champion.
Yeah.
He should have.
Yeah, he definitely had he had it all, really. The in-ring ability, the charisma, the promos. He really did.
Yeah, should have been champion.
Do you think that bothered him? How important is like holding a title to some guys? I know to some guys it's really important. Other guys don't really care as much.
I think he would have liked to have held it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was Intercontinental champion, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. And I gotta of course mention your storyline with Macho Man Randy Savage.
That was the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Yeah, I think you were about. I heard somewhere that you were going to do something with Warrior, and then that, of course, fell through.
Yeah, he got fired. Well, it was supposed to have been Sid Vicious after that, and he got hurt. He had torn bicep, and then it wound up being Macho,
right?
That was the best of all of it anyway.
Yeah.
Except I lost my chance to have a championship run.
Yeah, that would be the definite drawback to that. But as far as legendary moments in WWE, that one's cemented in pretty well.
Yeah.
When I think about that incident at I think it was the Tuesday in Texas event where you actually slapped Elizabeth, I thought it turned you into. You've been heel in your career, of course. That seemed to take your heel level to a whole nother level, really.
Yeah, I put it up there. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
When you guys were like drawing this up, how did she feel about going into that storyline?
Well, she was a team player. She was all for it. She trusted me.
Right, and that was when Gorilla Monsoon famously said, you should be suspended for life. What did you think of Gorilla Monsoon's commentary?
I loved him. He was great.
Yeah.
Him and Bobby Heenan were probably the best two ever to get together.
I agree. What about Jesse Ventura? I thought he was pretty good. What'd you think of him?
Yeah.
Not your taste?
Not mine.
I do remember you cut that infamous promo with him when he asked what DDT stood for, and the end. And then that storyline with Elizabeth and Savage, did that end abruptly?
Yeah, it did. It did. It was causing problems at home for Randy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, her family wasn't smart to the business.
Elizabeth's family?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when Randy tried to go home after that incident in Texas, they wouldn't let him come into the house.
Really?
They told him to fuck out and don't come back.
Because they thought he didn't protect her?
Didn't protect her.
So that's ultimately what cut that storyline short, huh?
Yeah.
Was it scripted out how it was supposed to end?
No. He should have went to WrestleMania.
And so in that storyline you had a Cobra you used. Did the Cobra have a name?
One that I could tell people, starting with Mother.
I think I could fill in the end there.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you here about your theme music. Yours just clicks perfectly. When did you first hear it? How did you hear it?
I heard it at the building.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody told me shit.
So it wasn't like they took you backstage or anything and played it?
Oh.
Yeah.
They just heard your theme music. Go.
So yeah, we want to talk about your podcast. It's called The Snake Pit, which is based off of the show that you did with the same title when you were with WWF, because you were such a great talker. So now you're continuing on that legacy.
Yeah. Oh, I love doing it, man.
Yeah.
Gives me a chance to do whatever I want to do.
Right. You can tell the stories your way, and
well, later on, I'm gonna start giving people parts of my book on there.
You got a book coming out?
Yeah.
So you're gonna start reading excerpts? Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, I'll just read pieces out of the book.
And when is that book planned for release?
Couple months.
And is it's an autobiography talking about all this stuff?
I wrote every word of it. Yeah, it's about 600 pages.
So it is done. It's just now we're gonna get it out.
Right.
And did you feel that it's everything you wanted to get in? Oftentimes, when writing a book, you think about what do I really want to put in there, and you feel like you captured most of what you wanted to get in there, huh?
I put everything I wanted in there except this is part one, and part one finishes as I'm going into the WWF.
So this is like the earliest part of your career and life and career, right?
Right, life and career.
Mm-hmm.
So people can get more of a feeling what I went through to get where I wanted to be. In fact, I may read on my podcast completely. Sort of a gift to the fans.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and again, I will leave a link to Jake's podcast, The Snake Pit. Have you started work on the second book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I take my time. It took several years for me to get that first one together.
I imagine it is a lot to go through. How do you lay out the process of going through those memories and things?
What I do is I write down specific memories and then I fill in around them.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That's a good way to go about it.
I put all my high points down that I want brought out front.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's incidences, things that happened, premier moments.
Yeah. And
then I write the story in between them.
You keep putting down those moments like that. You got another great book in you, and the first one. I'm sorry. When did you say that was coming out?
Couple of months. Okay, so definitely be on the lookout for Jake's book. Does it have a title? Yes, it does. It's called The Book of Jake.
Okay. And kind of as we wind down here, I did want to ask you a little bit about your WCW days. I know it wasn't a great time for you.
The angle with Sting was very good.
Yeah, right. The angle was good.
And the build up for Let's Make a Deal.
Right. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
Spin the wheel, make a deal was an awesome idea.
Yeah.
They just picked the wrong damn match.
So they picked it. I mean, the spin was not legit, you're telling me?
Well, no. Hell.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there were so many good matches on there. I mean, who? Yeah. The coal miner's glove or something, right?
Yeah. Stunt the building out.
You didn't have a say in the match type or Sting or anything?
No. Sure did.
What are some of the specialty matches that you enjoy the most?
I've always liked the old cage matches where you had to beat the guy to win. The idea for cage matches was a place where you could get somebody one-on-one and you could finish out whatever problem you had.
Yeah.
But when they started doing the thing with the door where you got to climb over the top to win, that's a chicken shit way to win. I think usually a cage match is two guys that want to kill each other.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So if you don't kill the guy or at least beat him, leave him a bloody mess in the ring, then you don't have finished what was going on.
So you feel like, escaping the cage there's no real conclusion there.
No, that's what a chicken shit would do is run, isn't it?
It's a great point.
Shit. Fucking right it is. Or escaping through the door. Why are you running? I thought you wanted to kill this guy.
You're absolutely right. You're talking the old school. Yeah, those matches, yeah.
Yeah, the real deal.
The real deal, exactly. Like, what do you think about other things like First Blood match, I Quit match, stuff like that? You into those at all?
I Quit's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me think. Oh, hell. My mind just went blank.
What's that one where they strap they like tie the guys up and then they got to hit each corner of the turnbuckles? I forget what that one's called.
Full rope match.
Oh, okay. That's that.
You got to drag the guy to each corner to win. I don't like that.
You don't like that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, some are just too gimmicky, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, when you do a gimmick match, it should be something that is the final straw. This is the one that broke the camel's back. So we got to get these guys in there and get them together and let them do what they need to do.
Right. Right, like that storyline you were talking about earlier about with Rick Martel and the blindfold match. I mean, there was a whole storyline about you being blinded and stuff. Culminates with a blindfold match. It's perfect.
So it's all even across the board. It's not the first guy to rip his blindfold off.
Right. Now I watched the WWE the special they put out on you. I think it came out a few years ago, the Resurrection of Jake the Snake, and it had a compilation of your matches on the second disc. Did you compile those matches yourself?
No, I didn't.
Do you think it would be hard to compile, some of your favorite matches? Or
no, it wouldn't be hard, but I would have picked some different ones. Oh yeah.
Like which ones? I mean, I know they put some of the most well known ones. Which ones would you have wanted on there?
Some stuff from Mid South.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Dick Slater and Dark Journey.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see how a crowd should react to a match, go look at that film.
Yeah.
See what the people do whenever I DDT Dark Journey. They shit themselves. They exploded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was deafening.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you could put out your own DVD or something at some point, and if you ever get the rights to those matches or whatever, and then even do a commentary would be cool too. And I'd love to hear you talk about them as they're happening.
Well, we're doing some of that on my podcast.
Yeah, right.
To go over them.
So, is there any last words you'd like to say to the fans or anything like that?
I just want the people to keep listening to the podcast, and I do a thing on my podcast where they send the questions in.
Uh-huh.
And we're actually reading fans' questions. So I wish the fans would get with it and write me some questions that have some meat on them.
So, yeah, hopefully fans will do that. And, Jake, I just want to thank you again, man, for coming on the show.
Thank you, brother.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.